where did all of this confidence and self-worth come from when nobody told me that I was worth more than I was given? I've been trying to figure out, like, is it delusion? Is it delusion? Okay. All right, y'all. Hey, I'm back. For today's video though, prepare for a little bit of chaos just because it's a little bit of a heavier topic and I have a lot of thoughts, and yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so as of late, I've been really thinking about my standards for myself, for my life, you know, as I'm building a life, right, in Houston. And I've been trying to figure out where these standards come from exactly, because, you know, when I look at how I was raised and where I come from, you know, it wouldn't make sense for me to feel like I could move to a completely different city, state, whatever, and try to build the life that I've always dreamed of. It doesn't make sense that I'd be going after a career that I've never seen anybody else around me do. It doesn't make sense that I have such high standards for the partner that I see in my life when I've never even witnessed or experienced a person or a man like the one that I envision for, you know, my partner. And if you have ever felt that way about yourself, your standards, and what you want for your life, this video is definitely for you. So let's talk about it. So like I said, I've just been kind of sitting with it and trying to figure out, like, where did all of this confidence and self-worth come from when nobody told me that I was worth more than I was given, right? And I've been trying to figure out, like, is it delusion? Is it delusion? Okay. Because all of these are literally, like, they just come from me. You know what I mean? I mean, it may be a little bit of, you know, my mom, but like a lot of it is purely me. And what actually triggered me to like make this into a video was I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this woman talking about the Willie Lynch letters. And just for a little context, we don't really know, you know, if Willie Lynch was an actual person, if he actually wrote the letter, blah, blah, blah. I won't get into a heavy history lesson. But we do know that the strategies talked about in the letter were real tactics that were used on the Black community. And essentially, one of the things that they talked about in the letter was the Black family, right? And how the man was strategically taken out of the home and it would be all left up to the Black woman to, you know, take care of the household and raise the children. And the goal was to get the woman to raise the children in reverse roles. And so the sons would be, you know, very much so coddled, handicapped, you know, overprotected, just out of fear that the same thing that happened to the husband or the baby's father or whoever, the same thing would happen to her boys. And then she would raise the daughter to be very strong and independent, and pretty much raise her up to be prepared to deal with the same type of situation, prepare her to have the cycle be repeated, essentially. And there were more consequences to that, but that's what kind of prompted me to want to talk about this. And you might be like, girl, what does that have to do with the thought that you were having? Well, follow me. Well, first of all, hearing that like really startled me. Not that I didn't know that it was a thing already, but just hearing it again, it stirred something up in me, and it really pissed me off. And I was just like, wow, like we were literally almost like socialized to kind of, or just set up to have low standards and to expect the same thing from Black men, and to not be able to have the type of goals that I have for myself. Like, it was expected of me. They wanted us to, just as a Black community, but especially as Black women, they wanted us to be stagnant. But yeah, so basically, strong women, weak men, repeat the cycle. So one of the very first things that I thought about was, you know, just my own personal household and like how I was raised. And while I think that my mother is an amazing mother and I would not trade her for anything else, I think she did the best that she could with what she had. And I'm so proud of her. And she did more than most. So I think this is no slight or shade to her, because this is more of a systemic thing anyways. I do feel like sometimes that my brothers, sorry, I love y'all. I do think that I have seen that dynamic that was described in the Lynch letters in my own household, unfortunately, like where, you know, my brothers, they're a little bit more coddled and babied a little bit versus, you know, me, the only girl. I was raised to be strong, independent, and to never depend on a man for nothing. Like even till this day, my mom says, I can quote her verbatim. She's like, I don't want you to ever feel like you need anything. If you ever need anything, don't ever depend on a man. Call your mama. And it felt like such a blessing, and it still is. It felt like such a blessing growing up. But as I get older and realize that that was not supposed to be her job, or it was supposed to be her job, but not solely her job, I think that's when it started to click for me, and it stung a little bit, because it's like, dang, like my mom really had to take on that masculine role and be the sole, you know, provider for me, and still has to be, you know, today. I mean, I take care of myself, but you know what I mean? Like if I ever need anything and it's an emergency, only person I can call on is my mom. I don't have that well, I do now because she's married, but like growing up before my stepdad came into the picture, it was just my mom. So what other examples did I see reflected to me growing up? I saw women having to work extremely hard and be sole providers, not just my mom, but other women in my family, you know, while the men, the husbands, the baby's fathers were off doing whatever, right? What I also saw was men essentially having a choice as to whether they wanted to be present and an active father. Like the women, like I think what I internalized is that women never have a choice. Like you have to be prepared to be a mother, a single mother, even if you are with somebody else. And men have a choice. They can leave if they want to, and the responsibility is still on you. They could end up going to jail for whatever reason. And once again, not blaming anybody. This is all systemic. I mean, you know, some people are to blame, but I think it's a systemic thing, right? Like sometimes, you know, men, I'm sure, have ended up in prison for something that they didn't do. Like there are different, you know, scenarios and situations. We get that, but you get the overall. I also saw women struggle through motherhood, which I'll be honest, and we'll talk about it in another video, scared me, you know, from wanting to be a mother. Like I'm unsure about motherhood because of what I saw growing up, because I know at the end of the day, the man doesn't have to stay to help me. So if I really want to be a mother, I have to be prepared to do it on my own. And I feel like that's a problem. And that's why I contemplate being child free sometimes, like forever child free. So essentially what I had to see was women be in their masculine 100% of the time. You know, being a provisionary, working hard every day and not having a choice, even when they're tired, even when they're cramping, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Women having to be the only one disciplining their children, and having to discipline their sons as we know, is a completely different thing. You, as a woman, can't teach a man how to be a man. That's difficult, right? And you're already dealing with so many other life stressors. It's like you don't have time for that. So then you do end up coddling your boys, you know what I mean? Or you end up trying to protect them because you really just don't even know better, because you don't know what it takes to be a man, because that's not your job. You know, I saw Black women never being protected, always being the protector. I saw Black women never getting to be in their soft, just natural feminine energy, just like receiving and just being a woman. I never got to see that. All of the women in my family are very hardworking. I never really saw any like super big, like grand gestures towards women. And I think I'm blessed to have some of the most amazing women, you know, as part of my family. Like I'm very lucky to have them. They're all very special to me in a different way. And I wish that I could have saw like them get, or I wish that I could have seen them get loved on a lot more and a lot harder. And just seeing all of this, I think, and reflecting on it, I realized that it had a bigger effect on me subconsciously than I actually knew. So I think it had an effect, a profound effect on my self-esteem, on my boundaries, what I expected from men, on just my dating decisions in general, and my behavior in relationships. And I want to talk about that as well. And like I said before, maybe you have done some of the same things that I have, made some of the same mistakes that I have. But I think, you know, like I said, I'm just in a place where I'm ready to recognize it and change it. Okay, so how it affected me. So many ways, and I'm gonna try to like breeze through it because it's quite a bit. But I think number one, because the women in my family, and I'm sure other Black, women, they didn't really have the ability to go off to college, to move away, to chase a career, because I hadn't really seen it modeled for me. It felt scary. There were a lot of doubts. There still are, you know what I mean? Because I technically, as far as I know, I'm the first person to do it. And because nobody else did it, of course, that means I don't have any guidance. I'm just out here, doing my thing and winging it, which is just scary in itself. I think because my own father, wasn't present, so I understand what I'm talking about in this video firsthand. Because my own father wasn't present, it affected my self-esteem, just growing up and dating, like maybe in high school, or even up until now, but like it started in high school, just, wanting that male validation, but not having the words to articulate, or just really not even being aware that that's what it was, that I was craving male validation because I didn't have it from my dad. Like the lady said in the Willie Lynch video, like the way that they manipulated our households, it trickled down. There were so many different effects that I'm sure maybe they didn't even imagine or think of. So I think for me, as far as like my dad being absent, it was the validation. It was, being an overachiever and being a perfectionist, not realizing once again that it's due to me just wanting to be chosen, be loved, be validated, right? And now as an adult, I'm having to like grow out of that and validate myself, which is really difficult when your whole life you've been chasing this thing because of this lack, but you didn't know it. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot, right? But yeah, we'll talk about daddy issues in a whole nother video because that's a whole nother thing, right? Like I said earlier, being afraid of motherhood, because what great examples, what happy examples have I seen? None. I think too, not knowing a man's role in my life. I didn't know. I am just now within the last year or two, like learning what a man's role is supposed to be and what a woman's role is supposed to be, because I did not see it and nobody taught it to me, which means I didn't know how to navigate dating. I'm still learning. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have any boundaries. And that is a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for getting played, getting hurt, and allowing relationships to drag you through the mud, okay? And that leads me to my next point, because I ended up in a eerily, like very scary, very scary close, like relationship. I ended up in a relationship that was scarily close to what I tried to avoid and what I didn't want for myself. And what made it scary is that I didn't even know that it was happening while it was happening, due to like, what would we call it? Like subconscious programming, like growing up and seeing these different dynamics and seeing how men behave in relation to, the women in your life, and internalizing it, but not really knowing that you're internalizing it, and then subconsciously repeating it, like without, like I said, knowing that it even happened. And then once I realized like, oh, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid, but I didn't know that the red flags were red flags because this is all I've seen men do my entire life. I was like, oh no. Oh no. Something has to change, and we're changing it now. We're changing it now. So, and I'm glancing at my notes. For me, for my brain, it was normal for men not to be providers. It was normal for men to be in and out of jail. It was normal for men to have a victim mindset and to just sit in that and not do anything about it, just complain and come up with excuses. It was normal for men to have crazy tempers. It was normal for men to only be able to provide physical protection. That's it. That's all they was really good for. They'll shoot a nigga or slap a nigga for you. That's it. It was normal for men to step out on their families and cheat due to just life's stress and feeling inadequate, not being able to take care of their home in the way that they wanted to, not feeling like a man, so you go somewhere else to get that validation. Like, saw it my whole life. And I think one of the bigger ways that it affected me was just not knowing what it meant to be feminine, not knowing what femininity is, not knowing what softness is, and sidebar, how, the real power lies in femininity and softness, and we really control what's going on around here. Like, I didn't know that. I did not know that. All I knew was hard work, independence, never depend on a man for nothing. You can have a family with a man, it may not work out, and you know, if it don't work out, you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? And that wasn't good enough for me. All right, just kind of moving through the video because I know this is a lot, might be a little heavy. I don't know. Okay, so where did the audacity come from? So we taking it all the way back to the top. All the way back to the top. I know we kind of went in deep, but all the way back to the top. So where did the audacity come from? After doing all this reflecting and thinking and introspection, the audacity came from being a child, observing the things around me and deciding that these women are not happy. Why would I sit around and repeat the same cycle? So I need to change the standard for myself and just what I want out of life. I also forced myself to imagine what a different life would look like. So my mom always tells everybody, when she was a little girl, she always said she was leaving and she was never coming back. She was going to college and she was gone. Like, she was going to be gone. And hello, that's exactly what I did. I'm here in Houston. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Am I still trying to figure out what I'm doing and finding my way? Yes. But I said it and I meant it. And like I said, we were not repeating the same thing that I clearly saw were making the people that I love unhappy. Like, it just didn't make sense for me. Even as a little girl, it didn't make sense. In that, I started looking for examples outside of my, you know, direct environment to see, okay, well, is what I'm imagining, is it possible? Can I have a fulfilling life? Can I have a fulfilling career? Can I have a partnership that actually feels like a partnership and not like it drains me? Can I find somebody who is thoughtful, intelligent, emotionally intelligent, can communicate, can be faithful and loving to me and not leave everything to me, like love me enough not to put everything on me? Is that possible? And then I think from there, it just came from me deciding that I was worthy of what I wanted. I was worthy of something different than what I had saw. And I wanted to become the woman that was truly worthy. I mean, I do think that we have, you know, we're just worthy as is, but I wanted to become the best version of myself so that I could attract the best version of, you know, the partner that I want and the life that I want. So I think I'm going to be breaking a lot of generational patterns. I hope to, you know, we don't know what the future holds, but I hope to. And we'll talk about that in the future. You know, we're going to have a lot of these sit downs, these introspective conversations, and I'm really excited for that. Putting this video together was so much fun for me. This is what I do. I'm a thinker. I'm very introspective. I love to just reflect and connect the dots, and this is so much fun for me. And I can't wait to be able to do this on a more consistent basis. And hopefully, you know, this helps build my community, but also it helps y'all, like in your own personal life, helps you kind of connect the dots for yourself. But moral of the story, and then I'll go ahead and end the video right here because I don't even know how long it is. I'm praying it's not more than 20 minutes because I know that's a lot to digest. Moral of the story, I just feel like Black women deserve better. We deserve better, period. And you too can have the audacity to want more. I think it just involves a lot of introspection and unlearning, you know, things that you saw around you, like really thinking about yourself and your actions and how you behave, negative or positive, and figuring out where the work needs to be done. And it takes a lot of time, but I have no doubt that you'll think that it's worth it, because even for me, like it's taken a lot of sitting with myself and my own decisions, but it's more than worth it. It's more than worth it. And I hope that in the end, you know, me working on myself in this way allows for me to manifest that life that I am desperately searching for, girl, because I'm tired of being in struggle mode, child. I'm ready to live a soft, feminine life and to be loved on. And I want you to be able to see it on me. You know what I mean? I want you to be able to see it on my man. And yeah, so yeah, I think the solution is, with all of this masculine energy that us as Black women have had to learn, I think the solution is taking that masculinity and flipping the script, like taking that masculinity, doing what we got to do to get ourselves out of struggle mode, out of survival mode, into healthier situations, manifesting our life into healthier relationships, so that we can, like I said, manifest that feminine, soft lifestyle that we are all looking for. So yeah, as Black girls, we all out here fighting for the right to live in our feminine energy, girl, and we gonna do it. I see a lot of inspiration on social media, you know what I'm saying? Like I see a lot of Black women have accomplished it, and baby, I'm next. I'm claiming it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. This was so much fun making it. And I will see you in the next one. Be prepared, girl, because it might be something crazy it might be something crazy. Like, this is crazy. The next video might be crazy too, girl. Bye. Oh, wait, before I go, I've been trying to incorporate like little questions at the end just so we can have some conversation. The question that I have for this video is, what cycles are you questioning and what is stopping you from imagining a better life for yourself? Let's talk about it. Bye for real this time.